Good morning, I guess. This is Pastor Barbara, aka Preacher with Parrots. As far as I'm concerned, it's May 3rd, 2017. Technically, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning on May 4th. And it has been May 4th in Israel for a time. I want to give you a news break. There will be, I'm sure, several others after this one, and they will be very short. This one will be a tad longer because I want to give you some information. Yesterday, Tuesday, May 2nd, three things happened. It was my 86th birthday. I had a great day on the phone getting information and greetings and so forth in the mail, on the telephone, on the cell phone, in the text, in the mail. Went out to eat in the restaurant, gifted me chocolate cake, ice cream, a candle, and singing, and it was really great. The second thing that happened in Israel, it was the day that they celebrate their independence, like the 4th of July in the United States, or the 16th of September in Mexico. The third thing that happened on May 2nd happened in Paris. UNESCO, which is the United Nations, voted on whether or not the Jews were welcome in the western part of Jerusalem. Let me read you what the resolution was. 23 countries did not vote. 10 voted against the resolution. 22 voted in favor of it. This was May 2nd. This is the resolution. Jewish presence in Western Jerusalem is illegal. Another individual put it this way: the UN passed a resolution demanding Jews disavow Jerusalem as their capital. What's in Western Jerusalem? Mount Moriah, where Abraham took his son Isaac, said to his servants, "The lad and I will return," even though he had a command to take his son's life. Book of Hebrews tells us how he managed that. Through faith, he was able to be prepared to offer. Mount Moriah is the same geography. You're standing in the exact same place that we call another mount, the Temple Mount. The Jews are supposed to stay away from the Western Wall, the Wailing Wall, from the Temple Mount, from the eastern, or from the gate that's closed off, the one that Jesus came through on Palm Sunday, 483 years after Daniel said Messiah would be presented to Israel. That's what was passed. Let me give you a little information. This was in Paris. Voting for this was Sweden, Iran, South Africa, Brazil. 10 voted against it. They were Italy, United Kingdom, the Netherlands, the United States of America, Greece, and Germany. Not voting was France, Spain, India, Japan, Kenya. I didn't read them all, just the ones I thought you would recognize. Now, let's talk about Palestine. There are two portions of it. One is very small, the other is very large and kind of separated in the center. The small one is in the southwestern portion of Israel, and it's right on the eastern side of the Mediterranean. It's called Gaza. If we think of Jerusalem as being kind of in the middle of the Gaza Strip, to the south of it, we have Bethlehem, we have Hebron. I was there not quite 2 weeks after the war. I was ready to go. I wasn't afraid of the war. As you know, I'm not afraid of a lot of things. I beat cancer twice. My goodness, why should I be afraid of anything? I got off the bus and I was talking to the bus driver, and I was standing not too far from Sarah and Abraham's grave in a cave. And I heard gunshots. This was 2 weeks after the war technically was over. I was going to go with a university where I received my bachelor's degree, Azusa Pacific University. And they backed out. They said, we're not going to go to a country that's in war. But I found some Baptist preachers. Now, they don't believe in women preachers, but they believed in me and let me go with them, which was much better because I went more places. I was there longer, and it didn't cost that much more. I was in Egypt. I was in Turkey. I was in Switzerland. I was in the island just off of Israel. I was in many places. People that go now to Israel, depending on their passport, may not be able to go to Bethlehem and Hebron and so forth. At the very end, I'm going to show you a very imperfect map. The map's okay, but I don't have a couple of hours to work on it and give you a real good presentation, so I'm just going to stick my camera in front of a computer and show it to you. But I think if you're not familiar with Israel and Palestine, this will help you understand it. The Palestinian people, 93% are Sunni Muslims, 6% are Christian, and 1% near Samaria is a very old form of Jewish faith. Now, the Palestinians are saying, just like the Americans say about some things, we're not against your religion, just you. And so they're saying, we're not against the fact that you're Jewish, just that you're Israelis and you're here in our land. I want to talk to you about Hamas and Abbas. Abbas is the, I'm going to say, president of the Palestinian Authority. He's not too popular. There's somebody else that probably most of the Palestinians would prefer and will have in the future as their leader. But Mahmoud Abbas is leader now. He has just reduced everybody's pay by 30%. And Israel provides the electricity that the Palestinians get. And it seems to be that he is taking the blame for the fact that 20 out of 24 hours there is no electricity in Palestine. This was said on May 2nd, Tuesday, that this week, you're probably seeing this on Thursday or after that, so possibly now he is in the White House. He's a man with a lot of problems. He's not liked. This has just happened. The Gaza and the West Bank have problems with each other. And so he's a man with a lot of problems, and I don't know what he and Trump will discuss or what. Let me tell you about Hamas or Hamas, depending on how you prefer to have it pronounced. It was formed in 1987. It is an Islamic Muslim group. It is a terrorist group. It's not hooked up with other terrorist groups. They don't care what's happening in the rest of the world, I imagine. They are armed. They have one purpose, and that's to get rid of Israel. The Palestinian Islamic fundamentalist movement organized for armed resistance and terrorist activities against Israel. They don't mind them being Jews. They just want to get out of Israel. I'm going to read from Aljazeera. Aljazeera is an Arabic Mid-Eastern publication. I'm going to read it in English. This was written on Wednesday, May 3rd. And for me, it's still Wednesday, May 3rd, although it could very well be what you and I would consider the late night of May 2nd, because they are a half a day ahead of us. UNESCO's executive board has passed a resolution. Now, their headquarters is in Quatar. Has passed a resolution that criticizes Israel's actions in occupied Germany and occupied Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip, with Palestinian leaders hailing the move as a step forward and a victory for international law. I don't see what international has to do with this. This is Palestinian and Israel, a very small place. But they're claiming it's a victory for international law. Wait till the international law goes against them. They'll see it differently. The resolution describes Jerusalem as occupied and declares Israel's sovereignty over the city null and void. Hey, Israel, you got nothing to do with Jerusalem. It was backed by 22 countries, said a UNESCO spokesman Tuesday, May 2nd. The United States, Germany, Italy, and 7 other board members voted against it. Palestinian Foreign Minister Melki welcomed the result of the vote, saying that the world has chosen to stand on the side of what is right, even in the face of Israel's injustice, occupation, and illegitimate policies. We will face all the campaigns of distortion and destruction led by the Israeli Occupation Authority, armed with international law and the will of our Palestinian people who are capable of creating a future free from occupation. The resolution was submitted by Algeria, Egypt, Lebanon, Morocco, Oman, Qatar, and Sudan. That's where this resolution came from. It calls on Israel, the occupying power, to cease, persist evacuations, tunnelings, works, and projects in East Jerusalem, which the Palestinians want as the capital of their future state. It reaffirms the importance of the old city of Jerusalem and its walls for 3 monotheistic religions. That would be Jewish, Christian, Muslim. I want to say something about the Israelis having it since back in the book of Exodus, it being Christian, let's say 30, 40 years after the birth of Christ. And Muhammad was born in the 6th century after the birth of Christ. But then that's just my comment. While accusing Israel of taking actions that have altered or purport to alter the character and status of the holy city. I'm going to leave that, and I'm going to show you a very poor map. However, I think, just a moment. What I'm going to do to save myself 2 hours work, because it's after 2 in the morning and I have to get up extra early. I have extra appointments tomorrow. Is not going to be a good picture. I'm just going to stick a webcam in front of a computer. And my hand will probably wiggle a little, and I don't know what the map will do, but I want you to see, if you're not familiar with Israel and where the Gaza Strip and the West Bank is and where Jerusalem is, this will educate you. Now, this is going to be a little weird for a minute. Just hang in there. Not too bad. Let me back up here a little bit. In the lower left-hand corner, you see Gaza. In the upper left-hand corner, you see the eastern side of the Mediterranean Sea. If you go to the, I wonder if I can straighten this out. If you go to the upper right-hand corner, you see a kind of bluish circle. That is the Sea of Galilee. Well, what happened here? See if I can straighten this out. If you go to where it says West Bank, we'll go to where it says Jerusalem, right there. And you'll see that it's right in the middle of the left bank. Below it is Bethlehem, which is about 5-6 miles from Jerusalem. And below that, you see Hebron. That's where I was talking to the bus driver. I was there to see the tomb of Sarah and Abraham. Now, if you go to the east of it, you see Jericho. By the way, right here is the Dead Sea. Now, I just blew it. I think you saw enough of it that we don't need to wait while I bring the map up again. You can see that Jerusalem is kind of right in the middle of the two blobs that are the West Bank. I'm going to leave you with this information. Think about it. I see these things as clues. I find them as interesting things to think about. I'm not making big announcements, not mentioning dates. But I think for we Christians who have any interest in eschatology or future yet unfulfilled prophecy, this is very interesting. And I'm sure in the next few days, we'll have some more news breaks. So just hang in there. This is Pastor Barbara, Preacher with Parrots. Until the next video, God bless.